Hey, what's up, everybody? This is B. Howard. Seems a lot of people are speaking on my behalf. I've never self-proclaimed to be Michael Jackson's son. I'm definitely not suing the estate. I've been taken care of very well, and also I make my own cash.
A familiar face. Picture this, a young artist stepping onto the stage. The lights dim just enough to create that electric anticipation in the air. The crowd murmurs, phones held high, ready to capture the moment. And then he appears, Brandon Howard, with a face that stops you in your tracks. Sharp cheekbones that could cut glass, a jawline sculpted like a work of art, and eyes that hold a depth, a mystery, as if they're carrying stories from another era. For years, Brandon navigated the R&B scene like a shadow dancer, quietly building his craft, writing songs that poured from his soul, singing with a voice that wrapped around your heart and wouldn't let go. He wasn't chasing the spotlight, he was earning it on his own terms, one melody at a time. But then, something shifted. It wasn't just his music that started turning heads, it was him. Social media, that relentless beast, latched on to his image. Posts went viral, side-by-side comparisons that made jaws drop. "Is that?" people typed furiously in the comments. The resemblance was uncanny, almost eerie. Those eyes, that smile, echoes of the king of pop himself, Michael Jackson. Fans, especially the die-hard MJ loyalists who could spot a moonwalk from a mile away, went into overdrive. They dissected every photo, every video clip. Brandon's fluid movements on stage weren't forced. They flowed naturally, like water remembering its path. The way he glided across the floor, the subtle pop of his shoulders, the precision in his spins, it all screamed inheritance, not imitation. His voice? Oh man, that was the clincher. A breathy timbre that could shift from soft vulnerability to powerful emotion in a heartbeat, much like Michael's iconic style. But Brandon wasn't copying, he was creating. His tracks blended R&B soul with modern vibes, lyrics that spoke of love, loss, and self-discovery. Yet, the parallels were impossible to ignore. Comment sections turned into dejective agencies. Look at how he tilts his head when he hits that high note. That shy smile straight out of MJ's playbook. Award shows and red carpets only amplified the buzz. There he'd be, dressed sharp, exuding a quiet confidence mixed with humility, a star power that felt innate, almost genetic. Industry insiders started whispering too. Producers who'd worked with both eras of music noted the similarities in demeanor, the way Brandon handled interviews with grace under pressure, or how he poured everything into his performances without ego. But through it all, Brandon stayed silent. No confirmations, no denials. He let his music do the talking, dropping singles that climbed charts on merit alone. That silence, it was like fuel on a fire. It turned speculation into obsession. Suddenly, Brandon wasn't just an artist, he was an enigma, a walking question mark in the world of pop royalty. People wondered, what if the rumors were true? What secrets hid behind that familiar face? The mystery grew, pulling more eyes, more ears, until Brandon's story became inseparable from the legend that cast its shadow over him. As the years rolled on, the online frenzy evolved. Fan theories sprouted like weeds, detailed timelines, photoshopped family trees, even voice analysis videos breaking down frequencies. Brandon's performances were replayed endlessly with slow-motion breakdowns highlighting every nuance. "See that finger snap? Pure MJ," they'd say. But Brandon pushed forward, collaborating with up-and-coming producers, releasing EPs that showcased his versatility. He dabbled in songwriting for others, his credits popping up on tracks that hit the airwaves. Yet, the shadow loomed larger. Paparazzi started tailing him, not for scandals, but for glimpses of that resemblance. Interviews turned probing. "Do you see it too?" He'd smile politely, steer back to his music. "I'm just me." But the world wasn't buying it. They wanted answers, and his reticence only made them hungrier. In quieter moments, away from the glare, Brandon reflected on it all. Growing up, he'd always felt different, like he carried an invisible weight. Music was his escape, his therapy. He'd locked himself in rooms, blasting beats, crafting lyrics that hinted at inner turmoil without revealing too much. Songs about identity, about searching for roots in a stormy sea. Fans connected deeply, but they didn't know the half of it. The resemblance wasn't just skin deep. It was in his bones, his rhythm, his very essence. And as the world speculated, Brandon wondered too, how much of this was coincidence and how much was destiny? A childhood wrapped in secrets. Imagine a little boy, wide-eyed and curious, growing up in a world where music pulsed through the walls like a heartbeat. That's Brandon Alexander Howard, born in 1981 into a tapestry of R&B glamour and hidden truths. His mother, Miki Howard, affectionately known as Miki, was a force, a sultry-voiced powerhouse whose hits like Love Under New Management and Ain't Nobody Like You dominated the charts. She was the epitome of 80s soul, with a voice that could melt hearts and command stages. But her life intertwined with the Jacksons in ways that went beyond casual nods at award shows. Joe Jackson, the iron-fisted patriarch who molded the Jackson 5 into superstars, saw potential in Miki early. He mentored her, guiding her career with the same relentless drive he applied to his own family. This connection wasn't just professional, it wove threads of familiarity, pulling Miki into the Jackson orbit. Private gatherings, late-night studio sessions, the lines blurred. For young Brandon, this meant a childhood steeped in legend. He'd tag along to exclusive events, peeking from behind velvet ropes as icons like Diana Ross or Quincy Jones mingled. Backstage at concerts, he'd watch his mom command the mic, her energy electric, and whispers of bigger names echoed around him. But amid the glitz, there was a void, a question mark where his father's name should be. Family gatherings were oddly hushed on the topic. Aunts and uncles exchanged glances, changing subjects with practiced ease. "Focus on your music, baby," his mom would say, deflecting with a hug. Brandon, even as a kid, sensed the evasion. He'd ask innocently, "Who's my dad?" and get vague stories about past loves or worse, silence. It stung, like a puzzle missing its centerpiece. Music became his refuge. From age 5, he was in lessons, piano keys under tiny fingers, dance classes where he'd mimic moves from videos, his body naturally syncing to beats. The home was a sanctuary of sound. Vinyl records spinning Michael Jackson's Off the Wall, Prince's funk grooves, and his mom's rehearsals filling the air. Brandon absorbed it all, his talent blooming early. By 10, he was writing simple songs, humming melodies that carried an innate polish. But the secrets weighed heavier as he grew. School friends teased about his looks. "You look like that singer guy," and he'd brush it off. But inside, doubts brewed. Family trips to LA's music hubs exposed him to more, overhearing conversations about connections and old ties. Once at a party, he caught a glimpse of Michael Jackson across the room. Tall, enigmatic, with that aura. Their eyes met briefly, a spark of something unspoken. Was it recognition? Brandon wondered for years. Adolescence brought rebellion and deeper questions. Teen Brandon dove into hip-hop influences, blending them with R&B, but the paternal mystery gnawed. He'd pore over old photos, searching faces for resemblances. His mom's career highs and lows, chart toppers followed by industry struggles, mirrored the Jackson saga. She protected him fiercely, enrolling him in private schools, shielding from tabloids. Yet the silence bred isolation. "Why won't anyone tell me?" he'd think, channeling frustration into lyrics. Songs about absent figures, hidden truths. By his late teens, Brandon was performing locally, his voice maturing into that breathy, emotive style. Crowds noticed the parallels, but he focused on carving his path. The industry welcomed him cautiously. Early gigs opened doors, but whispers followed. "He's got that Jackson vibe." Managers circled, some hinting at leveraging the rumors. Brandon resisted, insisting on authenticity. He'd spend nights in studios, collaborating, honing his craft. But the secrets lingered, a fog over his identity. Family lore hinted at deeper ties. Stories of Miki and Michael's shared circles, late 1970s parties where paths crossed intimately. Brandon pieced it together slowly, the void growing into a chasm. By adulthood, he realized this wasn't just a missing name. It was a guarded fortress protecting something explosive. The weight shaped him, resilient, introspective, driven. Music was his voice, but the unspoken questions fueled his fire, pushing him toward a truth that simmered just out of reach.
The Billie Jean theory. Let's rewind to 1983, a year etched in music history. Michael Jackson, already a phenomenon from his Jackson 5 days, unleashes Billie Jean, a track that doesn't just hit the charts, it redefines pop. That infectious bass line, the sharp lyrics about a woman claiming paternity, and Michael's electrifying performance on Motown 25, complete with the debut moonwalk. It was magic, but also mystery. Michael insisted it was fiction, a tale of obsessive fans. Yet fans dissected it like scripture, wondering if it hid real-life drama. Now flash back 2 years to 1981, Brandon's birth to Miki Howard, known to close friends as Billie. The nickname stuck from her bold, fiery personality. Timing alone raised eyebrows. Michael and Miki, their worlds collided in the late 70s music scene. Award shows, studio sessions with shared producers like Quincy Jones. Rumors of a fling swirled quietly. They were seen at parties, laughing, dancing. Insiders recall chemistry, a spark amid the glamour. The theory ignited. Was Billie Jean a coded confession? Lyrics like, "She says I am the one, but the kid is not my son," flipped on its head. Perhaps denial masked truth. Fans connected dots. Brandon's birth year aligning with the song's release, Miki's Billie moniker. As Brandon emerged in the 2000s, the parallels exploded. His voice, those falsetto highs, emotional delivery, mirrored Michael's. Dance videos showed spins, pops, and locks that felt genetic. Online forums buzzed. Look at this old photo, Michael and Miki at the Grammys. Archives yielded gems, shared events, mutual friends. Handwriting analysts, yes really, found loops and slants eerily similar. Brandon's mannerisms, head tilts, shy grins, were dissected frame by frame. Journalists' timelines, Michael's 2000 tours overlapping Miki's rises. Urban legends grew, secret meetings, hushed pacts. Brandon, he navigated it with poise, focusing on releases like Dance Floor or I Ain't Guilty. Interviews probed, "What do you think of the theory?" He'd chuckle, "I'm my own man." But privately, it haunted. Mirrors reflected echoes. Performances stirred déjà vu. The theory wasn't just fan fiction, it resonated with his voids. As speculation peaked, Brandon pondered, was this song his origin story? The weight pressed, blending pride with pain, pushing him toward confrontation. The test that changed everything. Jump to 2014, the era of viral everything. Social media is a wildfire, and into it drops a bombshell. Dr. Joseph Goodman, a Beverly Hills dentist, announces he's got Michael's DNA from a dental impression bought at auction. Tested against Brandon's sample, 99.9%. Boom. Headlines scream, Michael Jackson's secret son confirmed. Twitter erupts. Hashtags like MJ Secret Son trend globally. Brandon's thrust into chaos. Paparazzi swarms, talk shows beg for interviews. But cracks appear fast. The lab denies involvement. Experts question, how valid is auction DNA? Chain of custody? Goodman, known for stunts, and backer Alki David, a publicity hound, raise red flags. Skeptics call hoax. Brandon speaks out. I didn't authorize this. No lawsuits, no drama. Backlash hits. Accusations of fame chasing. He retreats. Hiatus stretching years. Yet the test sparks something internal. Flawed or not, it ignites curiosity. Brandon, weary of shadows, begins a private quest. No media, just truth-seeking. It reshapes him. Music pauses, reflection deepens. The storm fades, but his journey begins, toward clarity amid the ruins. The mother who wouldn't answer. Miki Howard, R&B icon, cherished privacy. But 2014's frenzy pulls her in. Her Essence interview, composed yet emotional. She denies prior knowledge of the test, hurt by implications. I raised my son alone, he's my everything. But on Michael, evasive. We were friends, she'd say, dodging timelines. Tears flow when pressed, old pains surface. She calls herself Brandon's father, underscoring her solo role. Pride shines, but fear, too, of unraveling. For Brandon, it's revelatory. Her deflections confirm complexities, a silent nod to buried truths fueling his resolve. A legacy too valuable to complicate. Post-2009, Michael's estate balloons, catalog rights, brands worth billions. Executors guard it fiercely. An unacknowledged heir? Catastrophic. Lawsuits, narrative shifts. Whispers. Silence isn't denial, but strategy. Acknowledging Brandon risks empire fractures. Jacksons react variably. Jermaine calls fraud. Tito dismissive. LaToya, though, photos with Brandon, no words. To the estate, he's a risk. Fans, curiosity. Brandon caught, seeking belonging in a guarded world. The second test. By 2025, Brandon is done with rumors. He seeks truth privately, contacting Michael's ex-physician, discreet, knowledgeable. Samples from archived medical sources, verified rigorously. Legal oversight ensures integrity. Results? Confirmation. But more, an envelope with Michael's mark. Inside, credit card, note, allegedly for his child, a quiet acknowledgement. The note, the lie. This artifact shatters. Sources claim it's Michael's gesture, posthumous provision, but it unveils lies. Joe Jackson's alleged pacts, NDAs silencing Miki. Brandon learns of orchestrated erasure for legacy's sake. Devastation hits, not just biology, but betrayal. Truth wrapped in deception, reshaping his world. The truth. With knowledge, peace? No, pain. Brandon confronts a life of denial by family, estate, even mom. It's a reckoning, demanding closure. The aftermath. Post-revelation, Brandon vanishes. Sources describe grief. I am his son, whispered like a curse. No contacts, no estate, no family, not even Miki. He changes name legally, erases online presence, severs ties, music contracts revoked, foundation honoring Michael dissolved. A clean break from shadows. Conclusion. Brandon's quest ends in mourning. Lost years, denied bonds. He walks away not for gain, but freedom. If lied to lifelong, would you fight or flee? Share thoughts below. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.